stand, please. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Lisa, would you please read the opening statement and call the roll?
This is to advise the general public and to instruct that it be recorded in the minutes that in compliance with the Senator Byron N. Baer Open Public Meetings Act, the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority set its annual meeting schedule for August 2019 through July 2020, setting forth the time, date, and location of this meeting to the Secretary of State's office in Trenton, New Jersey, and the office of the Clerk of Atlantic City. The notice was published in the Press of Atlantic City, the Camden Courier Post, and the Newark Star Ledger on July 22nd, 2019, and July 23rd, 2019. Members of the press will be permitted to take photographs at today's meeting, providing that it is done in a manner which is not distracting to the authority, nor interferes with the public's right to observe the meeting. Any member of the public who wishes to address the authority regarding items to be presented to the board today will be given the opportunity to do so. Comments regarding any issues that do not appear on today's agenda will be taken during the public comment portion at the end of the meeting. We ask that members of the public who address the board stand and state their name and address for the record each time they speak on an issue. It is also requested that comments be limited to 3 minutes per issue. Modia Butler.
Present.
Hey, Bo, where are you?
I'm in Jersey.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Deborah DiLorenzo. Ed Gant.
Here.
Mark Antonio.
Here.
Michael Hanley.
Here.
Gary Hill.
Here.
Howard Kyle.
Here.
William Mullen. James Closis.
Here.
Dave Rebuck for the State Attorney General.
Here.
Bob Shaughnessy for the State Treasurer.
Here.
Rob Long for the DPA Commissioner.
Good afternoon.
Mayor Mark Hall.
Here. Thank you.
Vice Chairman Richard Tolson.
Here.
Chairman Robert Mulcahy.
Here, and thank you, Lisa. The next item on the agenda is the Executive Director's Report. Matt?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For my director's report, I wanted to highlight some of the work that the CRDA staff is doing here in Atlantic City. Big projects get big headlines, but a lot of the times it's the grunt work, it's the in the trenches, hand-to-hand combat that really makes a difference, not just today, but it pays dividends going forward. One of our employees, Rob Reed, has been working on rooming houses for the last 2 years, trying to improve the housing stock in Atlantic City, and for those folks who don't improve their housing stock, for them to either convert it to a non-rooming house or to abandon it and demolish it. And I can tell you that over the last 2 years, he's been very successful in either closing down or converting 20 rooming houses in the tourism district of Atlantic City. Which, again, Rob's here with us, so I want to thank him for that. Which, again, it's meaningful today, but also going forward, we're going to start seeing more and more of an impact by going after these type of properties, this type of substandard housing too often here in Atlantic City. So I just wanted to thank Rob and recognize him for the hard work that he's doing.
Thank you. Anything else?
No, sir. That's all.
Rob, you want to just stand up so we can recognize you? Thank you. We have a long list of proposed action items, which are really, a lot of them are administrative. The first item on the agenda is landscape materials authorization to extend the current agreement with Warrener's Construction for landscape. I forgot what, no, I did the minutes?
Did we do the minutes?
No.
All right, I'm sorry, I marked it off.
We were waiting after to do this.
No, I'll do it right now. A motion to ratify the minutes, I assume you've all read it. Any changes? I'll accept the motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Thank you.
Hearing no further comment, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. I want to thank the vice chairman because I seem to have a habit of missing the minutes.
Now, you're just trying to keep us on our toes, Mr. Chairman. I know that, but I can't take that credit. That was Mr. DCA over here.
Rob? Well, then I thank Rob. All right, landscape materials, authorization to extend the current agreement with Warrener's Construction for landscaping, hardscape, and plant materials on an as-needed basis for an additional 1-year period. Lisa, would you please read the resolution?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority authorizing an extension of the as-needed contracts with Warreners Construction Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $175,000 for the purchase of landscaping hardscape materials and landscaping plant materials for the CRDA Special Improvement District through December 31st, 2020.
Anybody need to be recused? Matt, do you want to describe this?
Sure, this authorization to extend the current contract with Werner's Construction, Inc. for landscape material on an as-needed basis. In July 2019, the contract amount was increased by $25,000 to an amount not to exceed $69,000 to complete beautification projects on Connecticut and Massachusetts Avenue. The actual amount spent in 2019 was $68,400. The SID budget for landscape materials has increased to $175,000 at the request of the board to complete additional beautification projects in 2020, including, among other things, planting the shade trees throughout the tourism district.
I think that's important, and if you remember, the Special Improvement District provides landscape services in public areas within the tourism districts, including trees, shrubs, flowers, bulbs, sod, mulch, clamshells, rocks, topsoil, and other related items. And it was the feeling of the board that we put additional money into it this year to see if we can't provide more beautification for the city and tourism district. Board discussion. Public comment. Seeing none, I'll accept a motion to approve the resolution.
Moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so ordered. The next item on the agenda is HVAC services. It's an approval of Spectra Venue Management's award of contracts to Falacia, is that correct pronunciation, Mechanical, and Herman Goldner Company in an aggregate amount not to exceed $1,500,000 for HVAC services on an as-needed basis. Lisa?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority approving Spectra Venue Management's award of as-needed contracts to Alaska Mechanical and Herman Goldner Company for HVAC services for a 2-year period from September 21st, 2019 to September 20th, 2021, with a total spending authorization of $1.5 million.
Anybody need to be recused? This is one of our administrative functions to make sure we have appropriate contractors in hand for things that come up. The bid was publicly advertised in the Press of Atlantic City and the Courier Post on August 19th, 20th, and on boardwalkhall.com. We received proposals from 3 HVAC contractors. 2 bids were compliant. The ones were Falacia and the other was Goldner. And based on all of the above, the Spectra recommends awarding contracts to the 2 companies that I just spoke about, not to exceed $1.5 million. Board discussion. Public comment. Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing or seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed and so
Aye.
ordered. The next item on the agenda is plumbing services. Approval of Spectra Venue Management's award of contracts to Falacia, I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it right. Falaska Mechanical and Herman Goldner Company in aggregate amount not to exceed $750,000 for plumbing services on an as-needed basis. Lisa?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority approving Spectra Venue Management's award of as-needed contracts to Alaska Mechanical and Herman Goldner Company for plumbing services for a 2-year period from September 21st, 2019 to September 20th, 2021, with a total spending authorization of $750,000.
Anybody need to be recused? This is a similar bid to the last one, only this time it's to engage 1 or more licensed contractors to provide plumbing contracting services. As I noted before, they were advertised in the appropriate places. 2 plumbing contractors made bids, the same 2 that were on the heating, Falaska and Goldner. Both bids were deemed compliant, and both firms have favorable past experience with Spectra, so the Spectra recommends awarding the bids to Falaska Mechanical and to Herman Goldner Company. Board discussion. Public comment.
Motion.
Moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Next item on the agenda is Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall facade pilot. Approval of Spectra Venue Management's award of a contract to Pullman SST in amount not to exceed $1,863,000 for the Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall facade pilot. Lisa?
Resolution.
Mr. Chairman, I'll be recusing myself from this.
Okay.
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority approving Spectra Venue Management's award of a contract to Pullman SST Incorporated for the Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall facade pilot remediation project with a total spending authorization of $1,863,000.
Now, this is an important project. Tommy, do you want to comment on it?
Sure. After many years, we engaged a architect to look at the facade. I think we threw a drone up, took some infrared imaging, and there's some specific areas within the facade on the boardwalk side that needs to be maintained. So this pilot program is going to go into a specific area facing, I guess, the ocean, be on the right-hand side. We'll erect the scaffolding tower up and then go in and do a corrective masonry repair and some repointing, and then that will basically inform our design team on what we need to do with some of the other areas out on the facade in front of Boardwalk Hall on the boardwalk.
So in effect, it's a full-scope masonry restoration in that point, and that's going to tell us what we got to do. And we picked this because this was the worst
This is the worst area.
The salt, air, and water have hit over the
Intrusion,
years.
yes. And then that'll inform the other phases, so we're going to do this in multiple phases.
Yes. Board comment.
How many linear feet would we say that represents?
We had a chart in committee. I don't remember
Just
what
give me a
it was.
ballpark. Tommy, you got one?
Linear feet, it may be 100.
Running feet, 100 feet long, up to the
Yeah,
top?
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's actually more going up, so you figure it goes all the way to the towers, so the actual light towers that are up there right now that are rusted, they're coming off. There's no historic significance to them. Actually, no one really knows the origin of when they actually went on the building. So it's removing them, you know, and it's essentially pulling the limestone piece out, making sure the steel and what's behind it, you know, what is going on behind it, making sure that is whole, and then doing that. So essentially, it's your, as Tom said, it's your right-hand side of the building. It's that tower as well as some of the loggia in the front side of the building.
And the only reason I ask that question is because it seems to me like we have pretty much neglected the whole outside of that building, and we're probably going to go around that thing in some way, shape, or form once these things start. They don't seem to just stop at the next demarcation point, is my point in this. So we can have that
So to that point,
conversation
we actually had a full scope of the building done. So we know masonry condition. So the Georgia and the Mississippi Avenue side of the building, as well as Pacific, has been repointed recently. Not to say that there's not some issues there, but the significant issues at this point are on the boardwalk. The last renovation and attention to any of that was in 2010. Prior to that, it was in the early 80s.
Thank you.
Other comments from board members?
Just for what
Howard?
it's worth, the light towers went up in the renovation in the early 1980s when Tommy Sykes was on the chairman, and I asked him about that once. They serve no architectural purpose. He just put them on as an ornament.
Other comments from the board? Public comment? Seeing none,
Motion.
moved by Mr. Ganton, seconded. Any further comments from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so ordered. The next item is an administrative item. It's appointment of Assistant Secretary. I need approval for the appointment of Monica de los Rios as Assistant Secretary of the Board. She's our legal counsel. Lisa, would you please read the resolution?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority appointing an Assistant Secretary to the Board.
Anybody need to be recused? This is in accordance with the authority bylaws that members of the CRDA elect individuals to serve as secretary and assistant secretary annually. And because of the replacement of Paul Weiss, that's important for us to do it. Pursuant to the resolution of July 16th, Sharon Dickerson, the Assistant General Counsel, was appointed to the Office of Assistant Secretary in the interim. And in October, Monica joined the authority as general counsel. It's now requested that she be appointed to assume the duties of Assistant Secretary for the remainder of the 2019-2020 year through July 2020 when we reorganize. Board discussion. Public comment. Motion.
Motion.
Moved by Mr. Tolson, seconded by Michael. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so ordered. Next item on the agenda is another administrative function designation of the ethics officer, liaison officer, and alternate. Approve the designation of Heidi Manning as ethics liaison officer and Carol Spatz as assistant ethics liaison officer for the authority pursuant to the New Jersey Code of Ethics Act. Lisa?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority designating individuals to serve as ethics liaison officer and alternate ethics liaison officer.
Anybody need to be recused? Heidi Manning, we came over from Chairman Plos's Casino Control Commission. We're delighted about that. And with the change in personnel because our previous ethics officer retired, moved to Nevada, we have to do this. So it's pursuant to the laws and whatever, because I don't think it's necessary to read anymore. Any board discussion? Any public?
Mr. Chairman, I just understand she's much happier here than she was in her previous employer.
That's probably a good comment because everybody want to work here. The chairman doesn't make any comments, he's just letting it go. We're in the holiday spirit here. Any public comment? Hearing none, is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Been moved by the chairman of the
Second.
Casino Control Commission, seconded. Any further comment? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so ordered. Next item on the agenda, White House Subs, authorization to enter into a revocable license agreement with White House Sub Shop for use of the CRDA-owned lot on 107 North Mississippi Avenue, Block 1336, Lot 26 is a trash enclosure. Lisa?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority approving a revocable property license agreement with White House Sub Shop to utilize Block 336, Lot 26.
Any recusals? Hey, Lance, would you do the discussion of this?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. So, probably a year or so ago, we were contacted by White House Sub Shop, Wayne Richardson's the owner. He's been temporarily using a dumpster on Formica Bakery site, which is about a half a block away. That opportunity is going away, so he needed a place to put his dumpsters. They approached us. We have property right across the street that is currently partially used by the electric company for a transformer. So we're going to allow them to construct at their expense a trash enclosure that will meet city standards, Mayor, to make sure we're up to date on that, and allow them to have access to it through a locked gate, and they'll maintain it. I understand through Rick's department, we had some past issues there, so we're going to make sure we monitor that very well to make sure it stays clean.
Any comment from the board members?
Mr. Chairman, out of committee, I know there was discussion, as you just mentioned, Lance, about maintenance.
Yes.
And I don't see anything in the documents I have anyway in regards to that. I know you just said we're going to monitor that, but there's nothing referenced.
It'll be in the in our agreement with them. And we'll make sure, absolutely.
All right. Just so it's maintained because of its proximity
It is.
to the park.
There is a decent
little
amount of buffer
pocket park
between
there.
that pocket park and where the dumpster will be, so the dumpster enclosure will be, so.
All right.
We do have some space.
Just as long as that's addressed.
Yes, sir.
Any other comments from board members? Public comment? Seeing none, motion to approve the resolution. Moved. Moved by the vice chair. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Rob. Any further comment from board members? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so ordered. Next item is former Patsy Wallace site. Approval to reject all bids received for development of the former Patsy Wallace site. Lisa?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority rejecting all proposals received in response to the request for proposals for potential development partners to develop the former Patsy Wallace site.
Anybody need to be recused? On August 21st, 2019, the authority released an RFP seeking developers for the former Patsy Wallace site on Block 336. 2 responses were received on September 11, 2019. One of the respondents was deemed non-responsive due to failure to provide required submittals, while the other respondent failed to submit detailed project proposal. The authority recommends to reject both bids for the reasons outlined above.
And Mr. Chairman, if I could add,
Sure.
the authority also looks forward to going out to another RFP in the near future as well. Hopefully get better responses.
Good. Other board discussion? Public comment? Motion to approve the resolution which rejects all bids.
Moved.
Moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. The next item on the agenda is the corridor parking garage authorization to amend the contract with SP Plus Corporation for management, operations, and maintenance of the corridor parking garage to allow for upgrade of the parking system and associated equipment in an amount not to exceed $161,950. Lisa?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority to amend the service contract with Standard Parking Corporation for management services and operating and maintenance costs for the corridor parking garage, all in furtherance of the corridor parking garage project.
Anybody need to be recused? Matt?
SP Plus received notification that the Windows 7 operating system contained within the park's parking equipment will no longer be supported. On October 24, 2019, SP Plus provided a cost proposal to the authority in the amount not to exceed $161,950 to upgrade both the Windows operating system and existing parks PARCS, which would no longer be supported due to the obsolescence of the Windows 7 operating system. The alternative to this upgrade would be to buy an entirely new system for the garage at a cost in excess of $500,000.
Board discussion.
Just one question, Mr. Chairman. I know I raised it. Who does the installation? Do we know, are they doing it themselves?
SP Plus installs it themselves.
They will install it themselves?
PSX.
PSX, I'm sorry.
Manufacturer.
PSX does, not SP, I'm sorry.
It's a plug-in, plug-out.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
It's just they're just bringing in new equipment, unplugging old, plugging in all the structures. Still.
Got it. Any other questions from board members? Public comment? Hearing none, I'll accept a motion to approve the purchase.
Make the motion.
Moved, seconded. Any further discussion from the board? Seeing, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so ordered. The next item on the agenda is the parking lot management services, approval to enter into a short-term management agreement with B&B Parking to operate and maintain CRDA-owned surface parking lots for a period of up to 180 days, beginning on January 1st, 2020. Lisa?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority approving entry into a short-term management agreement with B&B Parking Incorporated to operate and maintain 5 CRDA-owned surface parking lots in the city of Atlantic City for a period of 180 days, beginning on January 1, 2020.
Anybody need to be recused? Matt?
The authority is the owner of 5 surface parking lots in the city and contracts with B&B Parking to manage the parking services. 3 of the prime revenue generating lots are anticipated to be closed sometime in 2020 as part of previously approved CRDA projects. Anticipate closing parking lot 1 and 2 for the Atlantic construction to begin spring of 2020, and anticipate closing parking lot 5 for the grocery store project sometime in the summer of 2020. Staff proposes to have Spectra Venue Management operate Lot 3 and 4 upon expiration of the short-term management agreement, as those lots are primarily used for event overflow at Boardwalk Hall and Convention Center.
Board discussion. Public comment. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
It's been moved by Mr. Hill. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Long. Any further board discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so ordered. That ends the action items at this moment for the board. The next section, the next part of the meeting is for public comment. I will add that this board will go into executive session following the public comment for contract negotiation matters and there may be actions coming out from that executive session. So at this point, for public comment, does anybody have any matters they wish to raise to the board? Unbelievable.
Mr. Chair,
Mayor?
I wanted to follow up on a discussion from our committee meeting last week. Well, I mean, the last time we had a committee meeting, I was had a discussion with Mr. Rebuck on street lighting in Atlantic City. It was an issue that I took very serious. We started working on it literally the next day, and I told you before our next committee meeting, I'll provide you with an update. The city of Atlantic City had a main electrician. Unfortunately, he was electrocuted and is out, retired on disability. So we literally have 1 or 2 people in electric bureau. A lot of it is the salary guide that we're currently working on with the state to get good people in. And, you know, we're short of staff in that area, but that still doesn't make an excuse for the lack of lighting. So what the city did is purchase 94 bulbs for $55,000. I immediately set up a meeting with Lance Landgraf. We came to the office. We had a discussion with our public works team, shared with him some of the information that was discussed in the committee meeting and where we go from here. Our next step is we've been in touch with Atlantic Electric, and we're talking about partnering with the CRDA due to lack of staffing to get back into the tariff program with Atlantic Electric. I have to send the president a letter, and we're in the process of setting up a meeting with Mr. Landgraf, Ken Mosca from Atlantic Electric, you know, to see all that's involved in getting back in that program. So I wanted to provide you with an update on, you know, what we did to the problem that you clearly identified.
Are you going to be looking to come back to us for something, Marty?
Yes, well, we want to have those discussions first.
Okay.
But that's probably the direction that we're headed.
Okay.
Mayor, I'll just say thank you. I mean, on my behalf, I mean, I think it involves a lot of players here, not just the city, and I appreciate your efforts to take a leadership role in this to really address the problem. I expressed to you and others that from the casino side, the Casino Control Commission and the DGE, we work directly and with the facilities managers at each of the properties at the casinos and do audits, and regularly audits, walk the property. Our people walk the property at night, and if there's lights out in the surrounding area of the casinos, it's addressed immediately with the casinos, and they take the steps that are necessary to make the repairs that are needed, whether it's lights they own, lights that are owned by the city, or in many cases, lights that are owned by Atlantic City Electric. And I think with your effort in this area and the vigilance of other groups maybe taking the initiative, they'll see that this is only going to improve if everybody takes a little extra steps to ensure that their areas of the community are serviced the way they should be. So again, thank you, and look forward to working with the rest of the board on issues that you may bring to us for assistance for the city.
Appreciate it.
To the mayor. Mayor, are these lights that the city owns?
Yes.
Not Atlantic Electric?
Yes. And that's the problem. The city was out of the program with Atlantic Electric, and that's why we're in the infancy stages of those discussions to see what it would take to get back in there.
Have you identified number of lights that we're talking about?
It's over, you know, 100. It's throughout the city. It's problems like even uptown, the Cove area is, you know, dark. So we're, you know, taking the necessary steps. And, you know, one of the things that I like what he said is about, you know, accountability and raising the expectation level of the employees, and it's unacceptable. And we jumped right on it, and we put our money where our mouth is. But just like any company, if you have lack of manpower, we have to partner up with other agencies, and we're trying to, you know, see where we can go to, you know, partner perhaps with CRDA on this. So at the appropriate time, we'll present a proposal.
But just to answer that, I don't believe it's just solely a city issue.
Right.
Our experience in working with the casinos has been that the public utility company has to step up and do a better job also. And
No, listen,
you can't just throw it on the lap of the city.
There's no doubt.
Right.
no doubt. For a while there, Mayor, I had taken a look with some previous administrations at the street lighting problem because it was so bad, to your point. I was just curious if they were privately owned or if it was a utility issue. Making the casinos keep their lights lit should not be a problem for us as the city and the CRDA. That should be easy.
And while we speaking about lights, one other project that we worked on that I initiated as the city council president, Route 30 at night. So as you pass North Carolina Avenue, I mean, it's atrocious how dark it is. I mean, it's scary. Like, you can literally ride up on someone and literally almost hit them. So what we've done, working with South Jersey Transportation Authority and Atlantic City Electric on both sides of Route 30, right there where the Highgate is, the apartment complex on 600 block of Absecon Boulevard. Both sides from North Carolina to Virginia Avenue are going to be lit up, adding extra poles and lighting as well, because even when you come off the tunnel, if you're going to Hard Rock, Ocean, or any of the casinos in the uptown area, I mean, it's not safe. And you have people crossing. I remember years ago when I first got in office, there was supposed to be a pedestrian bridge project right there on North Carolina Avenue so that people can get from the Marina District to the other side of town. They did a great job of providing a little, walkway in the streetscape, and we ordered them to put fencing up in the median because you literally had people straddling, the fence with babies, etc., trying to get to the other side of the road. So we improved the safety there, but hopefully sometime in the first quarter, maybe I can give an update at our next committee meeting that, you'll see much more safe and lit corridor of Route 30.
There's two comments. One is, for years we've been dealing with this streetlight problem. In fact, at one point we went and identified them all, Howard. I remember you on this too, and where to go. Kudos to you for stepping up and putting this together, and we're here to help you. Other comments? Yes, sir.
Terry Kelly, I'm a resident of Atlantic City. Speaking of lights, Mayor, driving up and down through the walk area town, it seems very dim at night there. The lights are not as efficient as they are in other parts of town. It's not well lit. This is my comment.
Well, we
in the shops there.
Yes. I didn't know that. I talked to Walt about that. I had that impression. They prefer it that way. That's what they set it up to be.
Well, I've seen people pedestrians dodge cars because you can't see the pedestrians a lot of time because it's that dim. Why don't we light it up like the rest of the city seems to be?
I would agree. I would like to see it more brightly lit.
Yeah.
I guess that's a discussion.
It's also dangerous, I think, because people get for presents a crime situation. I think it's very dim. It's very dim. It's extremely dim. That's all I have to say on that.
Yeah, so Howard, they're telling me that...
Years ago, I made a comment to them, I think actually when Ms. Butler was here, still with them at the walk before she was here, about how dim the lights were, and I was told that was their preference, because they wanted people to be able to see in windows or something along that line. Yeah. I always thought the walk area was very dim.
Yeah.
It is.
Right, but it may be, we'll find out. And there may just be a conflict between commerce and public safety. And public safety should trump that.
Matt, we could just easily talk to the new general manager and see their intent, right?
Yeah.
You knew who that is, right? Donna?
Yeah, Donna.
Okay.
Yep.
Other comments from the public? Hearing none, I'll close the public comment portion of the meeting. I'll accept the motion for this board to go into executive session.
Motion. Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? So ordered. Okay, I'll accept the motion to reopen the public session.
Make a motion.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. We do have one resolution that I would ask Lisa to read.
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority approving a fund reservation in an amount not to exceed $1.8 million and negotiation and execution of a non-exclusive public-private partnership booking and promotion agreement with Live Nation Mid-Atlantic Incorporated for a 3-day concert festival on the beach in 2020 and additional beach concerts, festivals in 2021 and 2022 in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Anybody need to be recused? I think the resolution is self-explanatory. What we're doing is enter into a contract for 3 years. The first year with Live Nation is for a beach concert this summer. The next 2 years, there are specific dates and limitations as to when it can occur in terms of the summer, and so that we don't book on a Friday or Saturday in July or August. It's okay on June or September, or on the weekdays. There's a variety of things in here that really relate to the negotiation and contract, and as soon as the governor's office approves this, you're free to see it. If there's any particular questions, I'll be happy to answer them at the end. Before we get in, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
Motion.
Been moved, is there a second?
Second.
Second, discussion. I know, Mayor, you wish to say something.
Yes, first, let me just put on the record that I believe that Live Nation is the #1 entertainment company in the world. Their track record nationally speaks for itself. They've done a great job here in the city of Atlantic City, but I want to keep my message consistent and say that we need to diversify our offerings. We need some urban acts on the beach as well. I've said that to Live Nation. I said it as a council president, and I'm now saying it as the mayor. You know, because we have to answer to our constituents that why is it only certain types of music being played on the beach? And then when we did go urban for 2 straight years, it was one concert, I believe it was September 22nd, where we had an urban R&B act, and things went extremely well. It was a little cold, but things went extremely well. And then we had a hip-hop act, which was the Rough Riders Reunion Tour, and we had almost 10,000 people there without incident. So moving forward, you know, I understand, you know, this year may be too late, but in 2020 and 2021, you know, I'm gonna be having those same discussions, and not only on the beach. We need to increase our urban acts at Boardwalk Hall and throughout the city, because we know we can't survive on casino gaming alone anymore. We need to diversify what we offer to people, and entertainment is always a catch. Also, I will be sitting down with Live Nation to negotiate, you know, a better deal from the city of Atlantic City's point of view. But other than that, I support it wholeheartedly.
Other comments from board members? Hearing none, any comments from the public? Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, John Gregg, business agent with Local 351 of the International Brotherhood of Electric Workers. I'd like to thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Mayor, and the rest of the board members for approving this. The amount of work that we can receive from these shows for our membership, for the contractors, is instrumental in the summertime. Usually some of the casino work slows down. It's always good to have these beach shows for us, and the work also at Boardwalk Hall. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Yes, sir.
Hi, Joe LaSala, President, Atlantic City Stagehands. You know, much has been written and discussed about the beach concerts and, you know, the tens of thousands of people that come to Atlantic City to see these concerts and all the tourism dollars, and they're all wonderful things, and I think it's fantastic that, you know, you guys are going to support it to come back. But I wanted to bring up a little bit more of the human element, like John did, is these concerts really provide much needed income for a lot of people that live in Atlantic City and Atlantic County, all of our people, and these are the income and the wages that are made from these are just instrumental, and I can't express how important it is, and I want to thank you guys, thank everybody for having foresight to continue with these concerts for another couple of years. Thanks again.
Thank you very much. Other comments? Yes, sir.
Yeah, will this cost any more to the city, unexpected costs, or?
So those costs are covered.
They're all covered?
Yes.
Okay. The second question is, how will this concert benefit the residents of Atlantic City?
I think if you ask the merchants who have come forth whenever we've had talks, they are very excited about it because they pick up a lot of business.
My question's about the residents.
Well, I mean, certainly any of the residents who would be interested in the acts can attend, and that's a convenient way to see their hometown. I think in general, we're looking for Atlantic City to prosper. It is an entertainment destination, so whenever we can support events that help that part of, a significant part of the city's economy thrive, that then translates into benefits for the residents. You know, a healthy city, healthy finances, they're all interrelated.
Helps the finances?
Yes.
Other comments?
May I just comment, sir? Also,
Yes, Gary.
as an Atlantic City resident, I do go to the concerts. I support it. I think it's great for the city. I think it's great for our reputation and our promotion for the city and what we have to offer here other than casino gaming. But also, there's something really nice about this. The Live Nation is going to be stepping up and helping the Boys and Girls Club, which does affect our residents, the kids in our community, and they're going to be helping them through this 3-year contract. So I'm happy to see that.
Other comments? Seeing none, any further comments from members of the board?
I guess I'll clarify my
Yes, Mark.
my no vote. I'll be voting no for this. And it's, you know, again, mainly because of the dates that this concert is on over a weekend. I've said for years that beach concerts should be put midweek when we really need the business, not when we're 100% occupied. So I see that the negotiations take care of that in 21 and 22, but, you know, it's going to be a no for me.
I think we understand that. Other comments from board members? Hearing none, I'll call for...
Motion. Second.
Motion been moved by Mr. Gantz, seconded by Mr. Hill. Any further discussion from board members? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
So ordered. That concludes the business that we have from executive session. I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.